Hi guys and girls on YouTube, many thanks for watching my channel. I've got this video here. I don't know if you'll find this interesting or not. Some people will, some people won't. I've got this Samsung microwave oven. It's only a little domestic one. Now the customer says it'll run for a bit and then it just, next time you come to use it, it goes completely dead. He said this display will go off, no buttons will do anything, it's just like it's been unplugged from the mains. And he said if you leave it 10 or 15 minutes it'll suddenly come back on again on its own. Now in a commercial microwave oven, when the cooking cycle ends, the cooling fans will keep running and they keep blowing air to cool the magnetrons down for about 2 minutes after the cooking cycle ends. Well, of course that doesn't happen in a domestic oven. As soon as it gets to the cooking cycle end, it just switches the magnetron off and it switches the fan off at the same time. And then what happens is the amount of heat stored in the magnetron, because the cooling fan's not running, is actually it's transmitted out to the body of the magnetron. So what you'll find is when the cooling fan is running, the magnetron's actually running quite cool, and then as soon as the oven switches off, you'll find that the temperature in the magnetron starts to rise on its own because it's internal heat coming out. So I've got this little demonstration set up here. Now I actually think this is a production fault, a manufacturing fault, and it's basically a very poor manufactured microwave to start with, because you can see in there the cavity light's lit, but the tint on this door is so dark that when it's actually cooking you can't even see anything inside it. So I mean, how rubbish is that really? So for this demonstration, what we're going to do, I've got this bowl of water. I'm going to warm this up for 5 minutes and I'll put a thermometer in and we can see what happens when the cooking cycle ends. Right, now I must just point out that I have already done this test before, and that's why we're indicating a magnetron body temperature of 33 degrees, because I've just done this test. So let's have a look. I've got the bowl in there. Let's start this for 5 minutes. I won't have the camera running for 5 minutes. I'll stop and we'll come back just before the time ends. But here we go. Oh, 5.5 minutes. So you can see now the fan's running and we're forcing cold air through the magnetron, and that's lowering the temperature. And if you see this is running, you can't actually see anything inside the oven. Let's just turn off the light. That is the cavity lamp there. You can just about see that, but if you look in there, we've no indication of what's happening in there because this front is tinted so dark. Right, so what I'm going to do now, you can see the magnetron temperatures drop with the fan running. I'm going to stop the camera and we'll come back to this when there's about 30 seconds left. Right, so we're coming towards the end of the cooking cycle now. That's the magnetron temperature with the fan running, 33.8. You can see we've got 16 seconds left. We don't know if the water's boiling because you can't actually see it through the door. But that's going to be pretty hot in 5.5 minutes. Now keep your eye on the thermometer when the cooking finishes. So we'll take out the bowl. And look at the temperature on the magnetron rising now the fan's stopped. So we're over 90 degrees now. It's 94. Coming up for 95 degrees. 96. Now don't forget that's only had 5.5 minutes of heating. Now you can see what's actually happening there, can't you? We're nearly up to, we're touching on 100 degrees C. So this is your culprit. This is the magnetron thermal cutout, and if we look at that, what does it say on the back? It opens at 100 degrees C and it closes back at 60 degrees. So if we look at the time now, what does it say on there? 12:48. Let's stop the camera and come back and say when that gets to 1 o'clock, and we'll see the temperature then. Right, well, if you look at that now, it's just coming up to 1 o'clock, and the temperature is still 66 degrees of the body of the magnetron. So this doesn't switch back on till 60. So you can see that this is replicating the fault that the customer has described. It works, and then the next time you come to work it's gone completely dead, and you have to wait 10-15 minutes and then it springs back to life again. So what are we now? 12 minutes in and it still wouldn't have come back on, because that's got to drop to 60. So now I've got the case off. It is cooling a little bit more, but it still wouldn't have come back on. And if you look there, you can see where I've got the thermometer probe. Now it did of course work because I've already changed this, and the reason I think this is a poor design, it switches off at 100 and we were measuring a temperature after less than 5 minutes of 98 degrees. So really I think that thermal cutout needs to be at least 110 or 120 degrees, which is what I've done. I've fitted a slightly bigger one. But yeah, I think that is another poor design from Samsung. If we combine that with the fact that you can't actually, if I put my hand there, can you just see there? So combine that with the fact you can't actually see anything through there. No, I don't like this. This isn't good. Alright guys and girls on YouTube, many thanks for watching my channel, and I'll catch you in the next video then. Goodbye.